Ooh, what's good guys? Alex is Tech, and we have the iPhone SE to review here. This is a awesome phone. We took a look at it on the channel earlier, and I am lying to you. This is a fraud. It's not the iPhone SE. This is the BLU Vivo 5 Mini, and it's a 4-inch Android device made by BLU. That sells in the $60 range, the same as the R1 HD last year, which was also made by BLU. And we're going to take a look at it because this is a 2017 phone and it's 60 something dollars. Is it worth it? Well, let's talk. To go over some specs really quickly for this phone, this is a 4-inch screen with a 480p display. So it's not even HD, not even 720p. But that's okay, it's a 4-inch screen, you would think. We're going to talk about the display in a little bit. But it also has a MediaTek processor, one of the lowest end MediaTek processors, with only 512 megabytes of RAM, not even 1 gigabyte of RAM, which is basically the minimum for a lot of smartphones. Even the lowest end smartphones have 1 gigabyte of RAM. When I saw it only have 512, I was kind of scratching my head, especially because other $60 phones have 1 to 2 gigabytes of RAM. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that at the end. But performance-wise, it's actually okay. I actually could use apps. Not multitasking. You cannot multitask on this thing. It will take days for you to multitask. It will actually be easier for you to single task and close everything before multitasking, which is how I was using this. And it actually turned out okay. I was using Gmail, YouTube, Chrome, even playing like light games. No problem on here. Took longer to load up the apps, but it's okay. It actually worked, and I was actually pretty surprised that it could do that. Once again, multitasking is impossible, and it does lock up quite often. Battery on here is 1500 milliamp hours. Very small battery, but at the same time, this is a very small phone, so you would think it doesn't need much to power it. Battery life is not good. It's not good. I mean, 1.5, 2 hours of screen on time. Maybe 7 to 9 hours on a day. So very bad battery life here. Not even an HD screen, so I can't explain the battery here. Camera, it's unusable. It really is. You're getting worse than potato quality. It's a 5 megapixel camera, shoots 1080p. You would think it'll be okay. And in really, really good lighting, optimal lighting, you can kind of use the photos. Like, once again, you can Instagram the photos and it'll be okay. I wasn't very high on the Alcatel A30 camera, but that is significantly better than this camera here. So this camera is basically useless. Maybe for like emergency purposes, like you get in a car crash, you need to take a license plate picture. You can probably make out the license plate using this phone's camera. But even then, I would be a little hesitant just in case I couldn't get the right number using this. That's how bad this camera is. I said this in the unboxing video, but I think it warrants a repeat because it is pretty important. But this phone does not have 4G LTE. It says 4G on the box, but some people I've read online have mistaken that for LTE, and they've read somewhere, apparently on Best Buy, that they do have LTE, but it does not have LTE. It only has 3G HSPA Plus on the T-Mobile network, which qualifies as 4G, so it's not 4G LTE. And also, there is no on-screen buttons, no physical home button. You just have off-screen navigation buttons that do not light up. All right, let's talk about the display. Let's try to talk about the display and make sense of what they're trying to do here. It's a 4-inch 480p screen, right? So not the highest resolution, not even HD. I'm okay with that because it is such a small screen, and because it's such a small screen, there's going to be a lot of condensing of the pixels, so the PPI count should be acceptable, but it's not. And it doesn't matter. The PPI count doesn't matter if you can't look at the screen. And I can honestly tell you I cannot look at the screen longer than 5 minutes without getting a headache. The best way I can explain this is if I wore 3D glasses, those red and blue 3D glasses, and tried to look at this display, because that is basically what you see. You look at it straight on, and this phone is so reflective, so glossy, and the viewing angles are so atrocious that there's no way you can look at it. You look at it straight on and you see your own reflection, right? You see your eyes. I can see my nose. I can see my lips. I can see my whole face over this display. It's like a mirror. I turn it a little bit, and all I see is black. I turn it this way, all I see is black. The viewing angles are so bad, there is no way about it. You look at it straight on, you see your own face. You turn it a little bit, you see black. You turn it up, you see black. It is unusable. And that's why this review took so darn long to make. From my unboxing time to now, it's been more than a month. And I normally don't wait this long to make a review. I could not bring myself to use this phone longer than 5 minutes. It really gave me a headache, and actually it was tough to use. I've never said that about a tech device because I love tech. It's tough to use this. Like, you would have to pay me to use this any further, which it says a lot. It says a lot, even though it's only a $60 phone, which we'll talk about at the very end too. That's no excuse. This is a very bad thing to look at. One last thing about the money part. $60, the $60 range is a very small field, right? And when you're spending $60 on a phone, more so than any other price point, you are looking for the best value you can get. If you're using $500 or more, of course you have more leeway. There's so many, the market is so saturated with terrific phones in those price ranges. You can't go wrong with any of those investments. It's up to your preference. But when you're looking at a budget device for 60 something dollars, you really are looking to get the best phone you can get for that price point. So you really don't have a lot of options. This, I cannot give you a single argument to why you should buy this phone if you only have $60 to buy a phone. Both the A30 and the R1 HD are light years better than this, offer better specs, better performance, and overall, they're just better phones. All right, I am gonna let it all out. No holds bar. I'm gonna tell you exactly what's on my mind. And I feel like on this channel, we have a track record. You can go through our video list through the year, and you can take a look at all our reviews, and I think it's pretty consistent. We are very honest with how we feel. We're not going to sugarcoat it. If we have an experience that we use the phone with, or whatever device, we're going to tell you exactly what we saw, what we felt, what we experienced. We're not going to lie about it. We're not going to change our opinions about it just to make a brand look better or worse. And BLU, we took a look at a couple of their phones last year. I said good things about both of the phones I looked at last year. The R1 HD, I still think that's one of the best valued phones ever made. They set a standard, and they forever changed the industry. Before that, don't even think about a $60 phone. The R1 HD made it a viable option, and they forever changed the mobile industry there. And the XR, that was a very decent phone for what they were offering at that price point. I gave it a very good review as well. I liked the phone a lot. This thing here, when we were unboxing it, when I unboxed it on the channel, I made a joke and I said, this is BLU's R1 HD successor after Amazon dumped them for Alcatel. And they basically said, okay, all right, guys, Amazon, you guys don't want us back? We're going to make this phone. This is going to be the successor to the R1 HD. And of course, I'm hypothetically saying this. And if this is the case, if this really was what they submitted to Amazon for their $60 range Prime exclusive phone, man, no wonder Amazon dumped them for the Alcatel A30. This thing is a piece of junk. It is a piece of junk. And this thing is a scam. Let me explain what that means. A scam, the definition of a scam is a dishonest scheme. Dishonest scheme. This thing is called the BLU Vivo 5 Mini. Well, the Vivo 5 was a great phone, and the Vivo 5R was a good phone too. They had a lot of critical acclaim. Same thing with the R1 HD. And so what BLU did this year was they said, you know what? We have a lot of goodwill going on. 2016 was a great year for us. We had some really good selling phones. Every single one of our phones are top sellers on Amazon. Reviewers are giving us good grades. You know what? Let's slap the Vivo 5 name onto this phone, even though this has nothing to do with that line. This looks nothing like the design. This features no soft hardware that's resemblance of the Vivo 5. But you know what? Those phones were selling really well, and the fans love it. That line represents good value, and good quality. So let's slap that onto this phone. That has nothing to do with that particular phone. And you know what? The Blue R1 HD was selling terrific. It's $60. People love that price point. Let's mark this at $60, and basically they'll think of it as a successor to the R1 HD. It's the 2017 model, right? Basically, that's what they're trying to do. And so they basically merged the goodwill that they acquired last year from their customers in a scheme to sell whatever this thing is. I really don't know what this is. And some of you guys might be sitting there, and I said this in the I Could Tell You 30 video too. You're going to be sitting there saying, Alex, what are you talking about? Like, you cannot honestly be saying this. It's $60. What do you expect? Well, I'll tell you what I expect. We can't use that as an excuse because the R1 HD, made by BLU in 2016, set the mark for what a $60 phone should be and what it can be and what it potentially will be. And they, like I said before, they forever changed what a $60 phone is. And for that same company to come out the following year and to throw this out, it speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. Once again, I'm Alex from Sipnoob Tech. Thank you guys so much for watching. This kind of annoyed me. Like, I didn't have a lot of expectations coming in there, but just using this phone really upset me. And I haven't had that happen before. Until BLU really starts looking at themselves in the mirror and thinking about where they want to go, they're always going to be stuck where they are right now as a kind of C-lister. And there's so much potential in the market for them to rise. And if they keep doing stuff like this, after all the goodwill they had last year in 2016, and they do this, stick that name on there, stick that price point on there for something that is totally unworthy of what they built up last year, just so they can sell a few of these at Best Buy because suckers walk in and see the name and see the price point, they're getting nowhere. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I would love to hear from you guys. I'm sure some of you guys would disagree, but maybe some of you guys will agree with me here. And I'll see you guys next time.
If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, hit the bell button below so that you don't miss a single video in the future. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!